being black ended where I began, or vice versa. I mean, that some things had happened to me because I was Jimmy, and some things had happened to me because I was black. But I didn't want to spend the rest of my life going around saying, you treat me that way because I'm black.
After attaining worldwide acclaim as a black writer, Baldwin wrote Giovanni's Room, an explicitly homosexual love story, for fear of alienating his newly acquired white, middle-class audience.
In the realm of comedy, the spotlight often shines on contemporary stars like Katt Williams, but before his time, there was a force of intellect, wit, and unyielding activism that shook the foundations of Hollywood. James Baldwin. Beyond the glitz and glamour, Baldwin's narrative transcends mere entertainment, delving deep into the gritty reality of systemic racism and the relentless battle against a suffocating establishment. From the smoldering streets of Harlem to the towering heights of literary acclaim, Baldwin's journey wasn't just about fame and fortune, it was a defiant roar against the injustices of his time. Yet, amidst the accolades and adoration, Hollywood's hand reached out to silence his voice, to dilute his message, and ultimately to erase his legacy. As whispers of his early life and intimate relationships echo through the corridors of history, so too do the rumors of Hollywood's role in his demise. Was it jealousy, fear, or a calculated maneuver to quell the rising tide of dissent? The answers lie buried within the tumultuous tapestry of Baldwin's life, a life cut short by forces determined to snuff out the flames of truth. Join us as we unravel the enigma of James Baldwin, uncovering the tangled web of Hollywood's betrayal and celebrating the indomitable spirit of a man who dared to challenge the status quo. He came before Katt Williams, but his impact reverberates through the ages, reminding us that the fight for justice is never-ending. James Baldwin, a luminary of American literature and a pivotal figure in the civil rights movement, was profoundly shaped by his early life in Harlem, New York. Born on August 1924, Baldwin grew up in the heart of the Harlem Renaissance, a vibrant cultural and intellectual movement centered in the predominantly African-American neighborhood of Harlem. Baldwin's upbringing was marked by poverty and the pervasive specter of racism. Raised in a single-parent household by his mother, Emma Burtis Jones, he experienced firsthand the struggles of poverty that plagued many families in Harlem during the early 20th century. Despite the financial hardships, Baldwin's mother instilled in him a love for learning and literature, fostering his early interest in writing and providing him with a refuge from the harsh realities of life. In addition to the challenges of poverty, Baldwin confronted the insidious nature of racism from an early age. Growing up in a segregated society, he witnessed the systemic injustices faced by African Americans, both in Harlem and beyond. These experiences of discrimination and marginalization deeply influenced his worldview and would later become central themes in his writing. Moreover, Baldwin's formative years coincided with the burgeoning civil rights movement, which sought to challenge racial segregation and promote equal rights for African Americans. As a young man, he was actively involved in the struggle for civil rights, participating in protests and demonstrations against racial injustice. His experiences during this tumultuous period not only shaped his political consciousness, but also fueled his passion for social justice and equality. Despite the adversities he faced, Baldwin found solace and inspiration in the rich cultural heritage of Harlem. The neighborhood's vibrant artistic and intellectual scene provided him with a sense of belonging and community, nurturing his creative talents and shaping his identity as an artist and activist. James Baldwin's early life in Harlem was characterized by poverty, racism, and the transformative influence of his family and community. His experiences during this formative period laid the foundation for his later work as a writer and activist, as he sought to give voice to the struggles and aspirations of African Americans in the face of adversity. James Baldwin's literary career and activism were defined by his unwavering commitment to exploring themes of race, S, and identity while tirelessly advocating for civil rights and social justice. Emerging as a prolific writer in the mid-20th century, Baldwin fearlessly confronted the complexities of the human experience, shedding light on the injustices faced by marginalized communities. Baldwin's literary journey began with his groundbreaking novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain, 1953, which drew from his own experiences growing up in Harlem. Through vivid prose and rich character development, Baldwin explored the intersections of race, religion, and personal identity, laying the foundation for his subsequent works. Throughout his career, Baldwin continued to push boundaries with works such as Notes of a Native Son, 1955, and Another Country, 1962, which delved into the complexities of race relations, and the struggle for self-acceptance. His writing was marked by its raw honesty and unflinching portrayal of the human condition, earning him acclaim as one of the most influential voices of his generation. Central to Baldwin's literary oeuvre was his exploration of the intersectionality of race and in works like Giovanni's Room, 1956, and Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, 1968, Baldwin fearlessly addressed taboo subjects such as and interracial relationships, challenging societal norms and advocating for greater acceptance and understanding. Baldwin's activism was not confined to the pages of his books. He used his platform to speak out against racial injustice and inequality. Through his powerful speeches and essays, Baldwin became a prominent voice in the civil rights movement, advocating for equal rights and opportunities for African Americans. In addition to his writing and speeches, Baldwin was actively involved in civil rights organizations such as the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC. He participated in marches and protests, putting himself on the front lines in the fight against systemic racism and oppression. James Baldwin's literary career and activism were inseparable, each informing and enriching the other. Through his fearless exploration of race, and identity, Baldwin challenged societal norms and inspired generations to confront injustice and strive for a more equitable world. James Baldwin's critique of systemic racism in America resonated deeply through his essays, speeches, and interactions with key figures during the civil rights movement. Baldwin's seminal work, The Fire Next Time, 1963, serves as a poignant exploration of racial injustice and its pervasive impact on American society. In this collection of essays, Baldwin meticulously dissects the roots of institutionalized racism, highlighting how centuries of oppression have shaped the social and economic landscape of the United States. Through his eloquent prose, Baldwin exposes the hypocrisy of a nation founded on principles of liberty and equality, yet built upon the exploitation and dehumanization of Black people. He challenges readers to confront uncomfortable truths about the legacy of slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and ongoing systemic discrimination. Baldwin's critique extends beyond mere condemnation. He offers insights into the psychological toll of racism on both oppressors and the oppressed, urging for empathy and understanding as pathways to meaningful change. Baldwin's engagement with key figures of the civil rights movement further underscored his commitment to fighting systemic racism. He forged friendships with influential leaders such as Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King Jr., each of whom left an indelible mark on his worldview and activism. Medgar Evers, the NAACP field secretary assassinated in 1963, was a close friend and collaborator of Baldwin, whose tragic death served as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those advocating for racial equality. Baldwin's relationship with Malcolm X, the charismatic leader of the Nation of Islam, and his interactions with Martin Luther King Jr., the iconic civil rights leader, provided him with diverse perspectives on the struggle for justice. While Baldwin shared Malcolm X's frustration with the slow pace of progress, he also admired King's commitment to nonviolent resistance and reconciliation. Through his writings and personal relationships, James Baldwin emerged as a leading voice in the fight against systemic racism, challenging individuals and institutions to confront their complicity in perpetuating injustice. His critique of institutionalized racism and his collaborations with key figures of the civil rights movement continue to inspire generations to work towards a more equitable and inclusive society. James Baldwin encountered numerous challenges while navigating the predominantly white worlds of Hollywood and the literary establishment, facing discrimination and systemic barriers to success. Despite these obstacles, Baldwin remained steadfast in his commitment to challenging racism and promoting authentic representation of Black experiences within these industries. In Hollywood, Baldwin confronted racism, both overt and subtle, as he sought to navigate an industry dominated by white executives and filmmakers. Despite his talent and intellect, Baldwin faced resistance in getting his work adapted to the screen and encountered stereotypical portrayals of Black characters in the few films that did feature them. Baldwin's frustration with Hollywood's limited portrayal of Black life is evident in his essay The Devil Finds Work, 1976, where he critiques the industry's perpetuation of racial stereotypes and its failure to accurately depict the complexity of Black experiences. Similarly, within the literary establishment, Baldwin faced challenges in gaining recognition and respect for his work. Despite his literary prowess, Baldwin often found himself marginalized within literary circles dominated by white authors and critics. He critiqued the industry's tendency to tokenize Black writers and pigeonhole their work into narrow categories, rather than recognizing the breadth and depth of their contributions to literature. Throughout his career, Baldwin used his platform to challenge racism within Hollywood and the literary establishment, advocating for greater diversity and representation. He called attention to the industry's complicity in perpetuating harmful stereotypes and pushed for more nuanced and authentic portrayals of Black characters and stories. Baldwin's efforts to challenge racism within these industries were not without controversy, as he faced backlash from those resistant to change. However, his unwavering commitment to promoting authentic representation and challenging stereotypes left an indelible mark on both Hollywood and the literary world. James Baldwin confronted numerous challenges in navigating the predominantly white worlds of Hollywood and the literary establishment, facing discrimination and resistance at every turn. Despite these obstacles, Baldwin remained steadfast in his commitment to challenging racism and promoting authentic representation of Black experiences, leaving a lasting legacy as a trailblazer in both industries. James Baldwin's personal life was as rich and complex as his literary and activist endeavors. As a gay Black man living in a society rife with prejudice and discrimination, Baldwin navigated personal relationships, friendships, and romantic entanglements with courage and grace. Baldwin's friendships spanned a diverse spectrum of individuals, from fellow writers and activists to musicians and actors. He formed close bonds with luminaries such as Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, and Lorraine Hansberry, finding solace and camaraderie among those who shared his passion for social justice and creative expression. These friendships provided Baldwin with both emotional support and intellectual stimulation, enriching his personal and professional life. In terms of romantic relationships, Baldwin was known to have had both male and female partners throughout his life. While he was open about his S in his private life, Baldwin navigated the complexities of being a gay man in a society that often marginalized and stigmatized same-sex relationships. Despite the challenges he faced, Baldwin maintained a sense of integrity and authenticity in his personal relationships, refusing to conform to societal norms or expectations. Throughout his life, Baldwin faced rumors and controversies surrounding his personal life, particularly regarding his S in a society that was often hostile towards LGBTQ+ individuals. These rumors had the potential to damage Baldwin's public image and professional reputation. However, Baldwin refused to be defined by others' perceptions of him, choosing instead to live authentically and unapologetically. While Baldwin's personal life may have been the subject of speculation and gossip, his legacy as a literary giant and civil rights icon remains unassailable. His courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice continue to inspire generations of writers, activists, and marginalized communities around the world. James Baldwin's personal life was characterized by deep friendships, romantic relationships, and the courage to live authentically as a gay black man in a society that often sought to marginalize him. Despite rumors and controversies, Baldwin remained true to himself, leaving behind a legacy of integrity, compassion, and unyielding determination to challenge injustice and inequality. James Baldwin's legacy as a literary icon and outspoken advocate against racism and injustice remains profoundly influential and enduring. Throughout his career, Baldwin fearlessly confronted societal norms and challenged readers to confront uncomfortable truths about race, and identity. His writings, speeches, and activism continue to resonate with audiences around the world, inspiring subsequent generations of writers, activists, and artists. Baldwin's unapologetic exploration of themes such as systemic racism, the intersectionality of race and the quest for identity has left an indelible mark on literature and social discourse. His works, including novels like Go Tell It on the Mountain and essays like The Fire Next Time, continue to be studied in classrooms and celebrated for their insight and relevance. Baldwin's influence extends beyond the literary world, shaping the perspectives and actions of activists and artists alike. His calls for justice and equality have inspired movements for civil rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and social justice around the world. Baldwin's words have been invoked by leaders and activists seeking to dismantle systems of oppression and create a more equitable society. In today's social and political landscape, Baldwin's work remains as relevant as ever. The ongoing struggles against racism, discrimination, and inequality highlight the continued urgency of his message. Baldwin's emphasis on empathy, understanding, and the power of storytelling to effect change serves as a beacon of hope for those fighting for justice in an increasingly divided world. Ultimately, James Baldwin's legacy is one of courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to truth and justice. His influence transcends generations, inspiring individuals from all walks of life to confront injustice and strive for a better world. As long as his words continue to resonate, Baldwin's legacy will endure as a guiding light in the ongoing struggle for equality and justice. James Baldwin's life and career exemplify a tireless dedication to challenging systemic racism and advocating for social justice. From his early experiences in Harlem to his later prominence as a literary figure and activist, Baldwin fearlessly confronted the injustices of his time while leaving a lasting impact on literature, activism, and the ongoing struggle for racial equality. Despite facing personal and professional challenges, Baldwin's legacy continues to inspire individuals and movements around the world, reinforcing the importance of speaking truth to power in the pursuit of a more just society. That's it for this video. Until next time, bye.